For decades, structures like this across Central Europe relied almost exclusively on solid fuels. These homes were drafty, labor-intensive to heat, and left residents totally exposed to the price swings of global energy supply chains. This created a cycle of rural decline. As heating and maintenance costs outpaced local wages, younger generations moved to cities, leaving behind aging populations and municipal budgets that couldn't keep up with basic infrastructure. But in 2022, a geopolitical shock shifted the energy transition from a long-term climate goal into a matter of hard continental security. We see the result here at the EU headquarters, the launch of Repower EU, a mandate to rapidly sever reliance on fossil fuel imports. The financial response followed immediately. Looking at these pipelines, we see the scale of the physical overhaul. In Poland alone, a 5.5 billion zloty tranche from the Modernization Fund was deployed to upgrade the thermal efficiency of rural multifamily housing and expand heat storage. This wasn't just a repair project, it was a ground-up re-engineering. By injecting billions into rural zones, Europe began upgrading the traditional village into a decentralized, resilient microhub. The physical footprint of the rural home is evolving. Modern, angular houses with rooftop solar are appearing where only drafty brick structures once stood. The goal is to treat the house itself as a thermal battery. This starts by removing the kapczuki, the traditional coal-fired boilers that were once the primary heat source for the Polish countryside. Modern passive house standards focus on the thermal envelope. Triple-glazed units use argon gas to block heat from escaping, while low-emissivity coatings reflect infrared heat inward. To seal the walls, builders use silver-gray neopore, providing thinner walls with high resistance to external cold. Inside, electric heat pumps pair with underfloor heating. The thick concrete floor layer acts as a heat sink, storing energy generated during peak solar production and releasing it slowly throughout the night. These upgrades decouple the rural home from the price of heating oil or gas. Even in a blizzard, the internal temperature remains stable because the building operates as a self-contained thermal unit. Because municipal natural gas pipelines rarely reached the most remote rural areas, these villages leapfrogged directly to decentralized power generation. This transition is anchored in a financial system called net billing. It's the framework that makes small-scale rural solar financially viable for a single household. When a house generates excess power, it flows to the grid. The utility pays the owner in credits based on the market energy price. When production drops, the house pulls power back, and the utility simply deducts the cost from those previously earned value credits. This turns a rural resident into a prosumer, a node in the grid that functions like a decentralized power plant. The village network is adapting alongside the home. Automated delivery vans now pull directly up to centralized locker hubs, dropping packages at any hour. Automated parcel machines, or APMs, have become the high-frequency backbone of rural logistics. By using a single, dense pickup point, delivery firms avoid the high cost of navigating spread-out rural roads. Bypassing that residential last mile speeds up the entire supply chain. Rural residents can now receive anything from electronics to clothing within 24 hours, without waiting at home for a courier. Specialized refrigerated lockers are even expanding the local diet. Residents can now order fresh, organic produce or high-end grocery items that were previously only available in major cities. These automated networks shorten the administrative distance between the city and the country. Physical isolation is becoming less of a factor in how modern villagers live and shop. But technology is only half the battle. This smart infrastructure requires digital literacy, a challenge for older demographics who must now learn to manage app-based energy systems and digital pickup codes. To address this, villages are establishing dedicated hubs. As detailed in this policy document on energy efficiency standards, these smart village hubs provide the technical training needed for residents to manage local energy cooperatives and digital businesses. We're also seeing a massive macro infrastructure shift. Strategic rail connections like Poland's CPK project are being designed to link previously isolated rural zones to major metropolitan centers with high-speed rail. As these transit times drop, rural property values near these hubs are seeing gains of up to 10%. This connectivity is drawing investment away from saturated city centers and into these high-tech residential zones. By integrating prosumer energy, thermal efficiency, and automated logistics, the European village has evolved into a decentralized microhub. It is now becoming the true front line of the continent's transition toward a more resilient